Well, we begin this news hour with breaking news from Afghanistan. At least 5 people have been killed in an explosion in the capital, Kabul. The bombing targeted the entrance to a mosque. Let's get more from Al Jazeera's Osama bin Javaid. He joins us live from Kabul. Osama, what more do you know about this attack at this stage?
Hala, this was the first time that a Taliban gathering of supporters and leaders has been targeted in the capital, Kabul. This was a condolence meeting where people were coming in to condole with the spokesman for the Taliban, Zabihullah Mujahid, who's the Deputy Minister for Information and Culture as well, whose mother passed away a couple of days ago. And there were hundreds of people at this gathering. Just a few minutes before the blast, some Al Jazeera team members were also there, and they described to us that there were multiple rings of security around this site where not just the Badri Brigade, but other Taliban forces were trying to stop people, search them, and they were only letting people go inside towards the area where people were meeting the spokesman after a thorough search. But because there were so many people there were hundreds of people exiting the venue from the location as well. It is not clear exactly where this blast took place, but we are fearing that there has been multiple casualties. We've heard from Taliban sources that at least 5 people have been killed, and others have put the number a lot higher. But this is significant because Taliban had been speaking about security, safety in this country, unprecedented peace, and it appears that those attacks which had been happening on the outskirts in Jalalabad and other areas have now come to the capital, Kabul.
Well, just talk us through some more of the significance of this attack, because as you mentioned, it's the first attack in Kabul since the Taliban came to power, and a lot of the Taliban's big sell to the population is that we're the ones who can keep you safe. So what does this attack do in the minds of people who are in the country, who are looking and hoping for security?
Well, what the Taliban have been telling the people of Afghanistan is that now they're in power, there is unprecedented peace, there is no corruption, and they're going to build upon that everything else that the rest of the world has been asking them to do. And now this attack in the heart of the capital, at a very secure location, tells the world that there are certain threats that the Taliban have not been able to overcome. Zabihullah Mujahid has been a very vocal advocate, a spokesman for the Taliban. He'd been in the shadows, only came to light after the Taliban took over. And just minutes before he left for this venue, we were with him and we were asking him about what is the situation like? Why are we seeing such a high number of attacks in Jalalabad, in the Nangarhar province, on the outskirts of Kabul? You have to remember that in the last week or so, there have been multiple raids at homes where Taliban have said that these were ISIL fighters, these were ISIL in Afghanistan supporters, they were members of hidden cells. And Zabihullah Mujahid was very adamant that ISIL does not hold any territory, but it does pose a threat. Here is some of what he told us just minutes before he left for that venue where the blast took place.
ISIL is not a visible thing here. They are in hiding. Some disturbances have been seen in Kabul and Jalalabad, but they are not present in other places. We are paying close attention and we will not let them create unrest, and our suggestion to them is that they don't instigate fighting inside Afghanistan. This is an Islamic country. There is an Islamic government here. Foreign forces have withdrawn from the country. There has been a major jihad done against foreign occupation, so everyone must respect this. And if they don't respect this, they will face a very powerful reaction from Afghan citizens and also our forces. We will filter them out and will destroy their hideouts.
We have to make it very clear that there has been no claim of responsibility of the attack here in Kabul, but this is a group, ISIL in Khorasan, Islamic State of the Iraq and Levant, in Khorasan province, which is the wider Afghanistan, Central Asian region, which has been carrying out these attacks in Jalalabad and Nangarhar. Taliban have been insisting that they're going after them, and they say they're going to be true to the pledge to the rest of the world that Afghan soil is not going to be used by any group against any other country, let alone Afghan people. So it is hugely significant that this attack in the heart of the capital, Kabul, at a gathering which was secured by Taliban fighters, has taken place. And now Taliban are going to have to tell not just the Afghan people, but their supporters as well, about the significance of the threat they face and what are they going to do about it.
OK, Osama bin Javaid there bringing us up to date from the Afghan capital. For now, Osama, thank you very much indeed. Well, let's get more on this now from Fahad Nabil. He joins us from Islamabad, where he's a security analyst and researcher on militancy. It's good to speak to you. I'm just going to repeat what our correspondent said. There has been no claim of responsibility for this attack. But given the context of the situation that we're in now, which groups would you say would be among the first that you would suspect? Who do you think would be attacking? It looks like the Taliban themselves are being attacked.
Well, one cannot rule out the possibility that Islamic State Khorasan province might possibly be behind this attack. However, so far they have not officially claimed this attack, but there's a strong likelihood that they might be behind this attack.
And in terms of the significance of this, this is the first time the Taliban have been attacked. It is the first time since the Afghan capital was attacked since the Taliban takeover. What do you think this speaks to in terms of the threat level for civilians in Afghanistan? Because, again, the Taliban are meant to be ensuring security, and with bomb attacks and mosque attacks, it looks like, this will have many people on edge, really. It almost seems like the war isn't over.
Ever since the Taliban takeover, we have seen a surge of activity by Islamic State Khorasan province. However, this is the first high-profile attack since the Kabul airport attack by Islamic State Khorasan province. So these attacks, the continued frequency of these attacks is really putting a serious question on the capabilities of Afghan Taliban to protect not only Kabul, which is the capital, but all across Afghanistan as well.
So how would you assess the Taliban's ability to protect civilians and to protect themselves from the type of attacks which, when they were at war, as part of the civil war, they were carrying out? Does this give them an advantage if they're using the same, their adversaries now are using the same tactics that arguably they used?
Yes, definitely. Afghan Taliban now faces the same threat which they used to pose to the Afghan security forces or the foreign troops in Afghanistan. So it is important for them to realize this fact that they have to move from this insurgency mode to now governance mode, where they have to ensure, they have to isolate, locate the sleeper cells of Islamic State Khorasan province. There have been an operation a few days ago in Kabul. So they have to continue to locate, isolate the elements of Islamic State Khorasan province in order to deal with this threat. And
do you think they will be able to deal with it? They obviously have a country to run, which they're learning how to do very quickly. They've been thrown in the deep end, if you like, when it comes to running the country. Do they have the resource, the ability to undertake the second mammoth task when it comes to tackling insurgent groups like this?
It is a very difficult task for Afghan Taliban because they does not have this experience. They were in the governance mode back in the late 90s. However, this time around, the challenges are different. They have this threat of Islamic State Khorasan province, which uses the same tactics which Afghan Taliban have been using in the past. So it is very important, and they have this capacity building issues as well. But they do also face this dilemma of foreign militant groups in Afghanistan, which the neighboring countries and other extra-regional countries have been arguing them to take action against them. So they also face this dilemma. If they do go and take action against those foreign militant groups in Afghanistan, they have this possibility of those groups joining Islamic State Khorasan province.
And just how powerful are ISIL-K? Again, we still don't know who carried out this attack, but as a group, are they more powerful than perhaps people have thought them to be? Is there a chance that not just the Taliban but other world powers are underestimating how strong this group is?
Islamic State Khorasan province, for a few years back, they were downgraded a lot by the efforts of Afghan security forces, the foreign security forces in Afghanistan, and the Afghan Taliban itself. But over the past years or so, it has witnessed a resurgence of their activities. So it continues to pose a threat, and one can say that the threat of Islamic State Khorasan province has been largely underestimated.
OK, Fahad Nabil, we're out of time, but great to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us from Islamabad.
Thank you.